Yo, what's up guys, it's Pat, and today we get a little bit nerdy. You probably heard about these best player mashups, best football player mashups on social media, where people create their best players based on different kind of skills and attributes, mix them together to create one single best player. And I thought, why not doing this with pickup artists / dating coaches? So I asked ChatGPT. So yeah guys, let's crack straight into it and ask ChatGPT to give me the most crucial attributes for the perfect women seducer. And it actually came up with quite good attributes any dating coach, in my opinion, any pickup artist should have and should bring: charisma, confidence, charm, emotional intelligence, storytelling, style, social calibration, leadership / presence, playfulness, and purpose. And I was curious and asked him, please add the most fitting best pickup artist / dating coach to each attributes you have listed above. Some names surprised me very much. Some names I agree with, some names I don't agree with. And beforehand, of course, I made my own list here. And you can pause this video here and write down your names of pickup artists you think fit the best to the following attributes. Surprisingly, ChatGPT came up only with old school POAs, and I don't know if you guys out there, I'm talking about the guys who recently got into game, are familiar with one or another name, but I will of course break it down and enlighten you. And we start with the first attribute, and the first attribute was charisma, and charisma goes to mystery. Now, this was, I think, one of the easiest for me personally to put a name on. I have actually the same name. For me, it was undoubtedly, when it comes to charisma, that mystery is the household name here. Now, ChatGPT writes, his stage presence and ability to control attention made him the archetypal charismatic showman. And as I said, let me know which pickup artist do you have assigned to that attribute. And the next one is confidence. And confidence might surprise the one another. Actually, the newest name here on the list, and this is obviously Julian, aka Julian Blanc. Controversial, but in terms of being unapologetically bold and unshaken in social risk taking, he embodied raw confidence. Now, I think ChatGPT refers to the pre-scandal Julian. We talk about pre-2014 type of Julian, and undoubtedly there was confidence, but it's always the question of how confidence and craziness go hand in hand, because if you've seen the old infield videos of Julian, you know what I'm talking about. Julian should be on this list. I think maybe not assigned to confidence. I personally thought about a more mature type of confidence. I would go personally with bad boy here. Next one is charm, and charm is again another household name here, Zamperion. Zamperion, the guys who don't know as well, old school POA. Known for poetic, playful interactions and smooth verbal agility that feels light yet seductive. Zamperion is not wrong here. I agree here with, I think, charisma and charm. Zamperion, mystery are, the ones you cannot go wrong with. Our fourth attribute is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is something most dating coaches lack, most pickup artists lack. Emotional intelligence is really, I think, something very, very important. I always refer to emotional intelligence, social intelligence, read social cues. If there will be one attribute which I would require, or I would say a student should bring, then it's emotional intelligence. You might be surprised with this name because you probably heard about him, Mark Manson, the author of one of the famous books in the pickup space, in the pickup industry, Models. But not many people know that Mark Manson used to be a pickup artist himself, before he turned into an author. And as ChatGPT says as well, pivoted from pickup into self-development, emotional intelligence. Mark Manson, again, not a name which shouldn't be here, Of course, for me, I would pick Carlos Xuma, maybe, together with Mark Manson. So, 50-50. I don't really have a preference. And the next attribute here is storytelling. Now, when we talk about storytelling, many guys think it's only about DHVing yourself, but storytelling is the ability to drag a girl into your life, tell stories with an emotional hook point, tell stories with the right tonality, with the right expressions, etc., etc. And this was another, for me, easy one. Here I would go personally with mystery. Let's see what ChatGPT says. And ChatGPT says Tyler Durden, aka Owen Cook, aka RSD Tyler. I'm not a big fan of RSD Tyler, I have to say. You probably know. Maybe ChatGPT thought about the blueprint RSD Tyler from 2008, but not the Garden Gnome RSD Tyler from now. For me, storytelling goes to mystery clearly. But yeah, this is the list we got. So let me know who you have. The next one is style, and I don't know the definition of style here. We can look it up once again. Style, the effortless fashion sense of a cultural icon who sets trends without trying. Now, personally, I would interpret style as not really the fashion sense, but let's see what we have here. It's very, very surprising. It's not style, not Neil Strauss, but it's Sasha Daygame. And this is, I think, one of the biggest surprises here on this list. I wouldn't have thought about that name, but it is what it is. Eccentric, bold fashion sense and a cultivated notice me vibe that became part of his brand. Now, I don't know what ChatGPT means by this notice me vibe, because it's more like a jumping around, you know, this London Daygame model thing, jumping in front of girls and acting like a weirdo. And I don't think like Sasha Daygame is the right fit at all for this one, you know. For me, style goes to Brad P. He should be on this list. He was as well 2 times Best Pickup Artist of the Year. Next one is social calibration, and social calibration is as well as important as emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, not that many dating coaches bring it to the table.
What are you doing walking around with this goofy hat? This goofy hat.
What are you talking about, sir?
It's goofy.
Goofy?
Yeah.
What's your name?
You need a new hat. My name is Vadim.
My husband's a police officer with 52 divisions. You want me to call him?
No, it's okay.
Social calibration. So let's see what we have here. Social calibration, Richard Larina, aka Gambler, another old school PUA. He had I think the biggest forum back then called PUA Training. And if you watch his videos, he's very down to earth. He's very, comes along as very grounded and very normal, you know. And normal, unfortunately, is something very rare in this space, as I said before. So the more important it is, you know, at the end of the day. And I have surprisingly on my list as well Richard Larina and another one, John Sin. So I could go with either of them, but if I would have to give a spot, maybe, yeah, Richard Larina. Leadership and presence, who can dominate the room, who can dominate the group, who has all eyes on them. And this is another, I think, important attribute. All of the attributes are actually very, very important, and ChatGPT did a good job here. And leadership here goes to Neil Strauss. Yeah, you probably heard about the famous book. Of course, this is the Bible for the pickup scene. And Neil Strauss, not the flashiest in field, but as a figurehead, author and organizer, he commanded presence and shaped the movement. Now, I don't know what ChatGPT again understands with leadership presence, but I would understand, as I said, what I talked about before. For me, leadership and presence goes to Matador. This was the typical masculine alpha pickup guy. I've never seen such a guy ever again after he left the scene. The next one on the list is Playfulness. And as I said previously, for me, I would put Julian Blanc in it, maybe not in confidence, but add playfulness. It depends always how do you define playfulness, you know. What does it mean to you? Is it the jumping around guy, you know, this hyperactive guy? Or is it somebody more grounded, somebody with a dark humor, or somebody who can playfully sexualize conversations, for example? It depends, you know, your definition of being playful. There are 2 big names, and I thought ChatGPT would bring up one of them, and actually it did. Or actually 3 names with David D'Angelo, the guy who wrote Double Your Dating. This is as well one of the earliest books I've read. I think also one of the first books on game. Nothing really groundbreaking, you know, and he was more like a marketer than a pickup artist. So I would have been disappointed when this attribute have gone to him. The next ones are David Wygant and Juggler. Both old school POAs known for their playfulness, for their push-pull and humor. Depends again how you define playfulness. For me, Julian Blanc maybe is the type I would go here with, and ChatGPT goes with, as I said, David Wygant. Radiates a lighthearted, fun-loving energy, always frame interactions as a natural and playful. And yeah, undoubtedly as an old school POA, David Wygant, I think was one of the guys with a natural humor. Together with Juggler, but for me maybe it was too much, you know. Last but not least, the last attribute we have on the list is purpose. Now, purpose, I don't know how purpose is defined here. I think it's very broad. it's different than what I have thought. ChatGPT says the fire of an activist or visionary whose life has meaning beyond the dating game and that gravity pulls others in. Now, this is very difficult because most pickup artists, most dating coaches stick to pick up and not really evolve, you know, in other spaces. Maybe a bit surprising here as well. I think the biggest two surprises have been Sasha Daygame so far, and this one, purpose, goes to none other than James Marshall from Natural Lifestyles. Built his philosophy around masculine purpose, lifestyle design, and alignment beyond game. Now, this is, again, not really agreeing with James Marshall. It depends on the definition, you know, maybe Paul Janka, who made it successfully out of it. If you talk about purpose of somebody who made it out of the space beyond game, of what the definition actually was before, then I would put Paul Janka. So yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments which name is on your list. Do you agree with ChatGPT? Do you agree with me? Or do you have a different kind of opinion?